Beyond poetry, I do poetry. Poetry has become a tool to do so many other things.
Okay.
You know, I have this agency background coming from PR, advertising, marketing, all of that. Good. When I'm not doing poetry, sometimes I get the chance to shoot documentaries for those who would like us to do this. I do voiceovers, we do subtitling, we do localization of content, we proofread, we edit, I teach. I teach literature, I teach English, I teach Chi.
Oh,
I teach indigenous knowledge. When I'm not doing any of these things, I run a cultural consultancy. So as a cultural consultant, what do? People want to learn indigenous knowledge. We go into storytelling. We take our time and do research for people. We script cultural concepts to be embedded in events. Or sometimes we handle the whole cultural aspect of an event. So you are having a conference for a multinational group, so you're receiving people from different parts of the world. How do we give them a Ghana treat? How do we give them a cultural immersion? Get in touch with us. We will let you know how to put these packages together. When I'm not doing all of that, I run a network of cultural troops.
Okay.
Yeah. When I'm not doing any of that, if you're looking for the best smokes, get in touch with me. If you want to find the best ahinima, get in touch with me. By virtue of being in the cultural space, I have my hands in
all these things.
I know where to find, the best of these things. You're looking for carvings, get in touch. We know where to find the best of these things by virtue of the practice. So when I'm not doing poetry, I'm still doing poetry. I have been Ochiame for a lot of people's marriages. I've been linguist for, a lot of these things. I've conducted naming ceremonies for experts who are coming in. These are all things that we do that a lot of people might not know. I've emceed events. I still MC events. People might not know these things. So when I'm not on stage, these are some of the things that I do. And of course, if somebody wants to learn the craft of poetry itself,
you're willing to teach?
I'm glad. I do. I teach this. I organize creative writer workshops.
Okay.
When I'm not here, sometimes you're invited to other countries to facilitate workshops or be part of a festival, in performance or consultation, research. Sometimes we have influence policy, because when I'm not into my regular 8 to 5, I'm the secretary of Ghana's National Folklore Board.
Okay.
So on that bit as well, I'm part of the technical team for Ghana UNESCO collaboration on intangible cultural heritage. So I do a lot in the cultural space.
Juggling so many roles.
A lot of work.
I mean, how many languages do you speak?
I speak the Akans. I speak Chi. I speak Fanti. I speak Equiapim. I mean Asante Chi, Fanti, Asante. A bit of French. I speak English and a lot of Pidgin.
Okay. A lot of Pidgin.
A lot of Pidgin.
On top of that, impeccable English.
Oh, Charlie.
I thought of asking because of the part you play when it comes to engagement ceremonies and marriage, because you have to be
definitely
quite versatile with these languages.
One key thing is, anytime you're facing an audience that does not speak all of the languages that you speak, find out who is going to be there. So there's something I teach my students, I call audience research. So before I show up at your event, I need to know who and who would be there.
Yeah.
So that I'll be politically correct, culturally correct, whichever way, I need to be correct.
You tick all the boxes.
So if there's a Frenchman in there and I get in with my bonjours and all of that, if there's Spanish,
just to break the ice.
Just to break the ice. Because when you speak a man's language, you're speaking to his soul. They are comfortable with you. Everything else you say will go in. Just because you spoke a line of his language, it makes them feel at ease. Yeah. So you need to do your audience research.
I know you've been doing this poetry thing for more than a decade.
Yeah.
Before that, you had a regular job you were doing, the corporate side, which was, I think, PR, right? Yes. So just to ask, what was that moment that made you reconsider your choices and decide that, no, I want to do poetry, let me start my own thing on the side?
Wow.
All the jobs you listed, they fall under Asaase inscriptions, right? That's your company. So what was that moment that made you decide to go into your own thing and start your own business?
Okay. So it didn't start with wanting to start my own business. Okay. It started with me resigning, not knowing where I was going. I felt poetry was calling me to go do something. You know the devotion of a newfound lover, the way it goes. Waxing so strong, a new devotee, with gestures and all of that. For some people, it dies with time. For others, it threatens to improve with time. Mine hasn't died. So, 11 years ago, this is my 11th year full time. I stepped out of agency. I felt the edge so strong because we do our regular 8 to 5. Our employers do their best to make sure that we're living that. Otherwise, you realize you're in a loop.
Yeah.
You're in a loop. At a point, it gets boring. As a
So
creative,
monotonous.
you feel underutilized because you feel there's so much more
You can do.
that you can do. You want a bit more of the outdoor. You want to be talking to people, engaging people, you know, inquiring, because you're curious by nature.
Yeah.
Right, and I realized that PR was great. That environment was great. Let me give credit to Global Media Alliance for giving me that platform, that space to work, you know, in the team. It also brought out my strength, you know, with my creative work, writing, performing, and all of these.